All right. I am here today with Brandon Oscarson, who is the business development manager, one of the business development managers for AmaWaterways for my area, which is Colorado, Utah, and Idaho, I think, or Arizona.
I have Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah.
Okay, the four corners. I'll have to remember that. Thank you. All right. I don't know why I said Idaho,
The
but
four
oh well.
corners.
so, okay. So let's go ahead and get this. Let's just talk a little bit about river cruising with Alma Waterways. So please give just a brief background of what Alma Waterways is.
So AmaWaterways, we are a luxury river cruise line. We've been in business, it was 18 years this July. And the president of our company, Rudy Schreiner, he is considered by everybody in the industry to be the innovator of river cruising. And that's because he spent several years at Uniworld helping them design their programs and helping them with their marketing. Then 10 years as president at Viking before he came on. He's an architect by trade, so he had his own vision. He didn't really want to work for other people. He wanted to create this amazing dream, and we have become the visionaries and industry leaders for river cruising because of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that when I think people are thinking about river cruising, I think a lot of them used to think Viking, but now I think a lot of people are starting to think about Alma Waterways too. So because of that, and I think you're definitely putting that brand out there, and I think making it a great alternative for just Viking basically. So or any other brand for that matter. So. Okay, so what sets Alma Waterways apart from other river cruise lines like Viking or Uniworld?
So, interestingly enough, we all have to appreciate the marketing that Viking does because they really make this river cruise industry go around. What sets us apart, we are quite literally the highest rated river cruise line in the industry, and we don't market and advertise directly to clients. We don't send out mailers and flyers to random people. Maybe our past guests will get things like that. But we get 97% of our business from our travel partners, people who know travel. So, and when I talk about being highest rated, I really like to use Berlitz Guides as a reference. Each Every 2 years, Berlitz will release a new guide, and they've released 3 river cruise editions now. And Ama Waterways has had the 10 highest rated ships each time,
Mhm.
based on our food, service, and amenities. And I think what really sets us apart, first and foremost, our dining experience is next level. When you have people cruising with you, you have to give them good food. If they have full bellies and they're happy with what they're eating, everything else just comes into this a really incredible experience. On top of that, we offer more included excursions than anybody else in the industry.
Mhm.
We have more than 20 included excursions per 7 night selling. So we have a little bit of something for gentle walkers, something for people who want to move at a more regular pace. We even have active walker tours. They go on hikes.
Mhm.
We offer bicycle tours. We have special interest tours like wine tasting, cooking demonstration, art tours. All of these are included. And these are just a few things that set us apart in this industry because most other river cruise lines will give you one excursion either per stop or per
Mhm.
day.
Mhm. Yeah. When I was on my Viking river cruise, there was that, yeah, just I think the one included river excursion or shore excursion, and then the optional one. So yeah, it's great that you have different options that are included for every passenger, because not everyone's going to want to do the same thing. So that's for sure. So.
People like choices, and we have a lot of people who have been to Europe several times. They're very well traveled, and it's nice if they're getting into a location they've been to before that
Hmm.
they can do something different, that they can have a unique experience going back.
Absolutely. So yeah. All right. So what are some of the pre and post cruise offerings people can add to their river cruise experience with Alma?
Well, the most popular river that we cruise is the Danube, and then after that, it's going to be the Rhine. For the Danube, our romantic Danube offers our guests 3 nights pre in Prague. Then you have your 7 night cruise. And if you're going to do it the opposite direction, you're going to start in Budapest. That would be my Melodies of the Danube. You can start with 2 nights pre in Budapest and then 3 nights post in Prague. These are some of the most beautiful cities you're going to see in Eastern Europe. Prague, actually considered to be one of the most beautiful cities in all of Europe, simply because it was completely untouched during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the Rhine River, we have some really neat options for pre and post. Obviously, if you're going to be in Amsterdam, you need to spend a couple of days there. And you can do that with AmaWaterways. You have a city tour included, and you have your cruise manager there on the land with you. We're the only company that does this, where the cruise manager does the cruise and land. Everyone else has a tour guide on the land and cruise manager on the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the Rhine, we also have pre or post extensions, 2 nights in Lucerne, 2 nights in Zurich, and starting next year, some of our Rhine cruises are going to take our guests to Lake Como.
Oh, yeah.
I am seeing so much attention on this. A lot of people are just super excited because to get to Lake Como from Lucerne, Switzerland, it's only a couple of hours. So we decided to go ahead and add that as an extension for our Rhine cruises.
Mm-hmm.
But every one of our cruises will offer a minimum of a 2 night pre. So it doesn't matter which river you're on, you always have options. Now, I'll tell you, one of my favorite European river cruises that I have done with AmaWaterways was the Rhone River, the Colors of Provence. And I was able to spend 3 nights pre in Barcelona. It was spectacular. Barcelona is like a giant playground for adults. You have tons of shopping, tons of great places to eat, and so many different things you can explore. And the city is broken into so many sections. And you have your cruise manager and a tour guide that takes you on a tour of Barcelona. We also went up to the top of it was a Montserrat. And it was so interesting when I got there. It was rainy and dreary, and I was like, oh, this is not going to be my favorite day of this trip. But as we went up the mountain, we got above the clouds and the rain, and it was paradise. It was sunny. It was beautiful. So that's one of the things that is available as a pre on that river. And we also offer 3 nights in Paris for the Rhone River as well.
Yeah, no, I would go for that. I would go to Barcelona
Right?
too, you know.
Absolutely.
It just depends on that money, you know.
That's exactly it. Some people it's budget, some people it's a matter of time. But it's really nice if you're going to go to Europe. Yeah, it's nice to do more than a 7 night cruise. It's nice to have the option to do 10 to 13 nights.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I mean, and that's what I always try to recommend people. I say you're already over there. You may as well add something onto it if you can. So for sure. So, all right. So in your opinion, why have river cruises become more popular in recent years?
People love ocean cruising, and ocean cruising has been around for a long time. But a lot of people don't want to be on a vessel with hundreds or thousands of people. River cruising is a much more intimate experience. You're traveling through the heart of Europe, and life was built along these riverways. The major cities of most of the countries we cruise through are right off of the river. So with an ocean cruise, you typically have to be back on board at 4 o'clock so that you can be out of port at 6. So you have a very limited amount of time to spend in each place. With a river cruise, sometimes we go to 2 ports in a day, but you have plenty of time in the evenings, no matter where we end up, to get off the ship, go and explore, experience the nightlife. And I think there's a really big draw for that. And there's something to be said about seeing these cities in the evening. And I'll give you one example. This is really neat. In Cologne, Germany, we're about a 10, maybe 15-minute walk from the center of town off of our ships. Now, they make Kolsch beer in Cologne. That's where it originated. You can go off of the ship, walk into town to a bar that's about 300 years old, and order a tall frosted glass of Kolsch beer. In the summer months, I will tell you that most of the guests will get off of the ship in the evening to go and have this amazing experience because we share with them that that's there for them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I actually did just that. I mean, I was in Cologne and drank the Kolsch beer in the evening. I mean, it was
It's
more fun.
amazing.
Yeah, and it was more fun to do that, at night than say if we had done it, I don't know, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, for sure. I mean, because yeah, you do get that.
Exactly.
Yeah, the people who come in, that energy, and it's just, yeah, way more fun for sure. And so I do like that, definitely like that aspect, with river cruising, how you can stay longer, in a port or a destination city for sure. So yeah. So
That
uh
and river cruising tends to be a little more inclusive than an ocean cruise, with your
absolutely.
excursions being included, all of the meals.
Oh yeah.
With us, you have your wine and beer with lunch and dinner, a complimentary cocktail hour. So
Oh
there
yeah.
are typically more inclusions, and we're finding more and more people are looking to river cruising.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I love river cruising. I think if I had my way, I would probably go on more river cruises than ocean cruises. So, all right.
That is my life.
Yeah, definitely. So, what would you tell someone who's skeptical about cruising in general to try a river cruise then? I mean, there are a lot of people who just say, oh, I mean, even if they're, reluctant, I mean, they may be reluctant to go on an ocean cruise, but even a river cruise too. What would you say? I mean, what would be the appeal of going on a river cruise for someone who's never done it before, for instance?
So I've been with AMA for 8 years. I spent 3.5 years on the phones in our reservations department. So I actually spoke to quite a few people. And being in the field, I even talk to people now who are a little reluctant. And there's a couple of things. Some people don't like the thought of being out on the open waters at sea.
Hmm.
They don't like maybe a little motion sickness if the boat may rock.
Right.
With a river cruise, you are on a flat bottom boat pointing up or down river, and there is no rocking, so no
Hmm.
motion sickness to be concerned about. If something were to happen, which it hasn't, but if the ship were to sink, all you would have to do is walk up to the sun deck because the rivers aren't deep.
Hmm.
You could be completely dry, maybe even in your stateroom if you're on one of the top decks. So, with the river cruising, it's an entirely different experience. If somebody was a little reluctant because of what they understand about ocean cruising, it's a completely unique experience within itself.
Hmm.
Again, you don't have a rock, so there's no motion sickness to worry about. And with AmaWaterways, we quite literally will hold our guests' hands from the beginning until the very end,
Hmm.
so they have that warmth and comfort from the moment they arrive with us. That all of those concerns are going to be put to ease.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. All right. Okay. So, let's see. What are some of Alma's most popular destinations? I think you mentioned the Rhine and the Danube rivers. Where else where are some other popular destinations for river cruises on Alma?
Sure. So obviously, our primary focus is in Europe,
Hmm.
and we are all over Europe. But we also cruise the Mekong Delta. This is going to go through Vietnam and Cambodia. This is by far my favorite trip I have ever been on with AMA Waterways. One of my favorite trips I've ever done in my life. I've been there
Hmm.
twice. It is absolutely spectacular. Going into Siem Reap and seeing the beautiful temples, learning about the culture and their history. And My wife and I are both foodies, exploring Southeast Asia and all of the amazing different foods they have there. Just it's spectacular. One of the most popular things that we've been doing for quite a while now is Africa. A
Hmm.
lot of people don't realize this. We're the only river cruise line that offers 5 different safari options, all combined with a river cruise. And you
Hmm.
can be with us anywhere from 9 to 19 nights. We've even started doing a post extension into Rwanda. We realize a lot of our guests going to Africa
Hmm.
also want to see the gorillas up in the mountain, and they can have that experience with AMA Waterways. Next year in September, I am so excited about this. We will start cruising the Nile River in Egypt. And we have put together an unbelievable and unique opportunity for guests who choose to do this with us. And
Hmm.
since it doesn't start selling until September of next year, it is selling so fast.
Hmm.
Now, we purchased a ship because on the Nile in Egypt, they won't let you build new vessels. They're very strict about how many ships are allowed on the waters.
Hmm.
So we we had to buy a 68 stateroom vessel, but we have stripped her down to the metal.
Hmm.
We have completely done a rehaul, refurbish, and it will be a 34 stateroom luxury vessel with every one of the amenities you'd find on our European vessel. So we have Europe, Asia, Africa, and Egypt are the places we cruise now. I will say I don't know what's next, but I know that Rudy and Christine and Gary are always looking into new options and places around the world.
Well, I have a possibility. Are they thinking about possibly breaking into the American river market at all? Like, say, going up the Mississippi or Columbian Snake or one of those areas at all?
Unfortunately, this is probably the one country we will never see on the waterways cruise.
Okay.
There are just a lot of different types of regulations to operate within the United States. It's actually, from what I understand, more difficult to get up and running here than it is many other places around the
Hmm.
world.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. So learn something new. um, yeah, it's just because of, I think with, domestic travel kind of, you know, trending right now, I was thinking that maybe if they were going to go into the American river markets, I mean, that would be a possibility. But okay. All right. Well, there are many other places to visit around the world, though, besides.
There are a lot of places. It's funny because every time we have, we have monthly meetings now
Hmm.
with Rudy, Christine, and Gary. And one of my colleagues will typically ask, "Are we going to start cruising in the U.S.?" And it's typically the same answer. It's not
Yeah.
something that we're looking at.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. All righty. Let's see. And so what would you say are the highlights of an AmaWaterways cruise?
Well, as I had mentioned, I'm a foodie.
Hmm.
My wife is. A lot of times when we travel, we've already kind of pre-planned places that we want to go and eat. Our dining experience is absolutely spectacular.
Hmm.
We serve cuisine from the areas that we cruise through with your lunch and dinner, breakfast, standard breakfast options, but absolutely spectacular. We also serve complimentary wines for the regions we're cruising through with your lunch and dinner, and the wines are spectacular. If you have clients who are wine connoisseurs or even winos, either
Hmm.
or, they're going to have the time of their life.
Hmm.
I love the onboard entertainment in the evening. But what I also love is that typically you'll go to a couple of ports in a day because we give you an hour and a half guided tour and then an hour and a half to explore on your own. You come back for lunch and go to another port. Unless it's a big city, then we're there all day and into the night. I love these guided tours. The tour guides were either born and raised in these areas or have lived there for so long that they're not just giving you a little bit of history about the town that you're walking through, but they have personal touches they can add to it that make all the difference in the world.
Hmm. Okay. So yeah, and you mentioned being a foodie, and I think that definitely that one of the highlights of being on an Alma cruise is the food. So there is actually, I think, on some of the ships there's a wine room table, I think, or the chef's table. What is that like? And can anyone who's on the cruise do that?
Yeah, we do have our chef's table. So this
Hmm.
is unique to Ama Waterways. We have our main dining room, and
Hmm.
then at the aft of the ship, we have our chef's table. The chef's table is limited to 28 people, but everybody gets a chance to dine here. It's complimentary. There's no extra charge for this.
Hmm.
The chef's table is a very unique experience. It's a European style tasting. So you never actually look at a menu. Once everybody is seated, the server will bring out three small hors d'oeuvres. We move on to champagne with sorbet soaking in it. After that, you get two small entrees, and we finish off with 2 to 3 small desserts paired with 3 different wines throughout the evening. I
Hmm.
will tell you, this is most guest favorite dining experience on board.
Hmm.
And speaking of dining experiences on board, we haven't talked about this yet, but our Alma Magna,
Uh-huh.
it is massive. It is double the width, and we have 4 separate dining venues in the Alma Magna. We have a chef's table, the main restaurant, our alfresco dining, oh my goodness, and Jimmy's wine bar,
Hmm.
all unique dining experiences on board this spectacular vessel.
Hmm. So passengers or guests could go to any one of those venues and just go have dinner there. I mean, would they wouldn't need a reservation, obviously not have to pay extra for that either.
No extra charge. Reservations are made for the chef's table, Jimmy's wine bar, and the alfresco dining.
Hmm.
Again, there's so much space on the ship. We only have 196 guests max on a ship that is double the size.
Hmm.
There's plenty of opportunities. So if people are worried they may not make it to one of the restaurants, it's not a problem. That everybody gets to dine in one of the locations at some point during their cruise.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, so we talked a little bit about wine. I think Alma has wine themed cruises. Tell me a little bit about that or about those cruises.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have really attracted a lot of people who have a great passion for wine. And this is something unique to Alma Waterways. We do these spectacular wine themed cruises. And what we do is we'll bring sommeliers or winemakers from right here in the States over to Europe with us. And they bring their own wines on board the ship with them. So, with that, they'll do tastings, pairings, and lectures in between your tours and your meal times. But to make it even more special and more unique of an opportunity, we're going to take you to some vineyards where they're experts. They were inspired by these wines. That is why they're on this particular river. And we will go to private cellars to do tastings as well. And the reason I say private is this is not a place you could just call up and book your clients to go and visit. Our relationship with these cellars allows us to go in with these winemakers and our clients and give them unique tasting opportunities. And
Hmm.
it's amazing. We I think add about 10 new wine themed dates every year.
Hmm.
So next year we're looking at about 90 wine themed sellings. So it has become again extremely popular with us.
Hmm. Yeah. You're not drinking wine all day, like from breakfast, lunch, and dinner, though, are you? I always think it's just constant wine
Yes.
drinking all the time. But I mean, you are pacing yourself some, I would think, right?
You know, I know that the wine tastings on board start around 10 a.m.
Oh my
So
gosh.
some of the days, I mean, these are really for people who have a passion for wine. I love wine,
Hmm.
and I would love to go on a wine themed cruise, but I would really have to pace myself.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, I feel something after the first glass, so I would definitely have to do that
Right?
as well.
Exactly.
So,
I'm a lightweight. I am a lightweight.
yeah, same. So, okay, so describe your partnerships with other travel vendors like Adventures by Disney or Backroads. You know, that just kind of gives you, I think, kind of more opportunities for people to. I mean, actually, people who I think would not otherwise go on river cruises, to experience river cruises. So, explain what those partnerships are like.
So, we've been partnered with Backroads for many years now. We have a lot of active travelers that come with us. We get a lot of avid cyclists,
Hmm.
and Backroads typically does part charters, 15 to 30 staterooms on numerous sailings throughout our sailing season every single year. And the bikes that we keep on board for our guests, they're very nice bikes. What Backroads brings to the table, that is the type of cycle that an avid cyclist would be looking for. So basically, it gets booked through Backroads. It doesn't get booked through us. But any of the rivers that anybody wants to cruise on, if they want to do a lot of cycling along the river and they're looking for that next level experience,
Hmm.
Backroads is absolutely the way to go.
Hmm.
Our partnership with Adventures by Disney, I want to say that began in 2016. This means the world to us because Disney's standards are through the roof. When they came to us, they basically said, we have looked at everybody. You are it. We want to work with you. You set the bar where we want it to be. And they do full ship charters. I want to say they have about 20 plus of them for next year. So they take over the whole ship, and you're not going to find Disney characters on board, but you're going to find Disney twists on board. Like when you go down to get your breakfast in the morning, you'll have some Mickey Mouse pancakes or Mickey Mouse bagels and donuts out. It is more family oriented because river cruising isn't really for children unless they're well traveled and they appreciate food and
Hmm.
culture and art. But Disney takes it to a next level. So we keep one cruise manager on board. They have 8 cruise managers there to make
Wow.
sure that kids of different ages and are taken care of, and that everybody going out on an excursion has a cruise manager as part of their group to help them have that Disney experience.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, I think that really does enhance, a travel, a vacation for a family when you can do something like that, so.
Well, and they changed the way we design our ships. They
Hmm.
wanted connecting staterooms, so we did that. It's unique. Nobody else in the industry has those, and we are able to accommodate triples,
Uh-huh.
which is again unique.
Right. Okay. All right. So the last question is that what's the advantage of booking a group river cruise? What sort of special perks would groups get going with AMA Waterways?
So if you book a group with us, you're going to get deeper discounts
Hmm.
because once you have a group of 10 people on board, you have an extra discount applied to your group. And the way that can work is it can be applied to a group leader, it can be applied to the entire group. It really depends on how you, as the travel advisor, are working with your clients. But going as a group, I will tell you the benefits I see. One, the financial side, it's great to save money. The other thing, it is so much fun to travel
Hmm.
with your friends and family and have one of these life experiences that you will remember for the rest of your life.
Right. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I would love to go with more friends and with my own family too. I mean, not just my kids and my husband, but my sisters and their families too. That would be a lot of fun, and with my friends. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to make that happen soon. All right.
Well, I'm here to help you out however I can.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that. And I just wanted to mention too on this broadcast that you and I will be hosting a virtual cruise night coming up on Wednesday, January 20th at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So for anyone who's listening to this broadcast, I'll have information for about that in my show notes and then also on my social media posts. So just letting you know about that. So. All right. Well, Brandon,
Yes, please
I
join us. It'll be a lot of fun.
exactly. So, Brandon, I appreciate your doing this and talking with me and having this conversation about Alma Waterways and about river cruising. I think that it's definitely going to keep growing and keep getting more popular with people as people start to know about it and find out how great river cruising is. So,
Thank you for having me.
all right.
Appreciate your time. Take care
Yeah.
and have a wonderful day.
Okay. You too. Thanks.